Greeting once again. This is Jim Phillips here. And let's talk about now that you've identified the veteran marker, let's take a look at what do you do about it? Well, in this episode, what we're going to talk about is general care and cleaning. Not deep cleaning, but cleaning so that the marker can be exposed and people can mark it with the flag. That's important. As for a sort of a better cleaning, that is going to be up to the cemetery to do because some of that stuff has to deal with the chemicals that they use and the processes they practice. So that's important. And also the liability of being able to work on headstones and the veterans' grave markers. So we want to be able to be mindful of that. So I want to talk about is general exposure and tools and some safety tips. Okay, let's first talk about some general stuff that you should do. First is that you should bring glasses, safety glasses. If you don't wear these types of glasses, safety glasses is good because you're going to be kicking up a whole bunch of dust, which also means you might need to wear a mask. Don't need to, but if you were inclined to, go get one. It might be helpful because some of this stuff, if it's in a dry season, it's going to be dusty. So that's good. I wear myself rubber gloves, little rubber gloves here. And with that, a pair of, these leather gloves. I wear leather gloves. So I wear these gloves and then wear these. Now, those are helpful because of the work that you're going to be doing in tearing up sod. We're not talking about generally tearing up sod, but when we get into the details of what we're doing, you'll see why that is important. The glasses, the gloves, and how that works. And that's going to be important. Now, one of the things I also recommend is that you bring a bucket. Now, this is a bucket. Now, you can't see it because my green screen makes it effectively invisible. So let's see if we do anything with that. Nope, that's a bucket. You can see the handle and it goes in front of my face. So it's sort of the mystery bucket. Next time you do a video, don't use green. Kind of key. Now, what you see behind here, of course, is a national cemetery with everything looking this way. Well, we're not working in national cemeteries. We're working in local cemeteries, and they're not like this. And whether it is a memorial park, which has all the stones flat, or the kind of cemeteries that have a lot of headstones, monuments, and stuff, you're going to be working in that environment. So just be mindful of where you were working. So first is got your safety gear, got permission to be able to do the work that you're doing. And now let's talk about breaking into the job itself, which is cleaning up a headstone. Now that becomes important because, let's see here, because what we do in cleaning up headstones is we want to expose certain parts of the headstone. First, once we've identified them, we will present that. Now, I'm showing a picture here of a headstone veteran's grave marker that is covered with grass. Not totally covered, but covered enough. The things that you're going to be able you need to do is to have some tools available to help uncover that. Let me give you some examples. For example, here, scrapers, plastic scrapers, metal scrapers will have a tendency to scratch if used improperly. So plastic scrapers are important to be able to get the dirt out from in front of the marker. Sort of a broom here, a little bit of a hand scrubbing device. This is to get some of the deeper stuff off of the marker, some of that entrenched in the carved out areas of the marker, names, ranks, dates. That's important. The other one is if it's a metal marker, a bronze marker, you're going to be able to scrape in between the names because they're all elevated. Key thing is that it's not metal. It's not a bristle. It is a nylon or natural fiber brush that we use to get that out. If you're having some difficulty with that or need to get details, a toothbrush is always helpful. So make sure it's this kind of toothbrush. Don't bring your electric toothbrush, although that probably would be helpful, but don't. Finally, what is helpful when you get to the end, and we'll talk about that as we go along, is a whisk. A little whisk. This little whisk is to be able to use to dust off everything. And this is very helpful to be able to get the end result that you're trying to seek. So what is our desired outcome on this? Is to uncover and edge the marker. Well, that's all we want to do. We want to clean off the front of the marker. We want to edge the marker so that we can see the full marker. Now, what we are not interested in doing, and this is not the purpose of what we do, is that we're not there to raise the marker, to adjust the marker, or do anything that would cause the marker to be damaged. What we're there is just to clean the marker so that we can read it and then place a flag. So let's take a look at some pictures that we've got going on here. In this first picture that I have, again, it's sort of covered. And the next picture is we start to look at what are we doing. Now, one of the tools that I use is this. He said, oh, Jim, hold it a second. That's metal. And I go, yeah, it is. But the purpose of this tool versus this tool is that this is to edge the marker. So the edging of the marker and the cutting of the grass around the marker, not over the marker, not in the marker, it's around the marker, is done by this, because this is sharp enough to be able to cut that and get the proper markings. Using the plastic one, you'll break your plastic. It just happens that way. Use your blade, cut around the edges, find the edges, and that's what these little pointy pieces for. Find the edge, cut around, and then use the plastic marker to pull up the pieces off of that. And that's why you wear the gloves, so you can pull those pieces up. And that's why you also have that bucket, so you can throw the pieces into the bucket. So you have this to get your outline. So as you have that outline, you now are able to mark get the veteran's grave marker properly adjusted insofar as visible. And then using your whisk, you're able to then clean off the marker. And if there's any areas where the dirt is sitting around or on top, you can use your scraper to scrape that off. The plastic scraper will not damage the stone. The metal one has the potential, because it is harder, to scratch or damage the stone. This becomes more important as you start dealing with different kinds of stones. Granite, maybe not so much, but if you're looking at the metal, the brass plate, yeah, you could scratch it. Or if you're dealing with a headstone that is not a federal headstone, don't do this. Uncover it, do the best you can, but don't do this, because this can damage the type of stone. Of course, marble, this does, could damage that as well, because marble is a softer stone. So let's take a look at this. We've got safety gear, we've got cleaning supplies, and we've got edging material and a bucket to be able to dump all that waste in. That's what you do. That's all you do. In the end, you're going to see a result that looks like this. And I think that you'll be very pleased with that. Now, the one thing to take away is that there's no desire to go and wash these things. The rainwater will do that quite nicely. And if there is a need to be able to do deeper cleaning, We identify that over to the cemetery and they can do that. You're not given the authority or responsibility to do that. That's up to the cemetery. But what we can do is bring it to their attention when you see something like that. I hope this is helpful. I think that you'll find your day is a great day when you do this, and you feel extremely proud when you do something like this because you're caring for someone who no longer can care for themselves, and you're giving respect to the final remains of that person. And this veteran, in many cases, you're looking at them and maybe they don't have any family. So the community that comes out to support them are their family. So you are, a de facto family member of that person. So when you clean this off and you have the name exposed, take a moment, look at their name, look at their rank, look at when they served, and then reflect on, how important it was at that time that that person stepped up and said yes, much as you said yes to come out and help. This is Jim Phillips. You have a great day and good luck doing the work. This is God's work, corporal works of mercy, caring for the dead. God bless. I'm out.